Awesome. Hey everybody, welcome to another live video here at Rogue Fabrication. We are doing another drawing. I know it seems like we do them all the time. We do about one every time we do a studio edited video, and then we also do one per month for swag purchases. This one isn't the swag one. Those happen usually in the first week of the month. That already happened this month. And of course, all month long in April, you can purchase swag or send in a postcard and get entered to win a tubing bender. We are giving away 3 tubing benders this month to 3 different winners. And of course, we'll do that drawing the first week in May. Entry is all month long in April. And of course, we'll have a second, well, I guess runner-up and second runner-up prize gift cards that we give out as well for that. So, but the big deal is 3 different winners for tubing benders for April's drawings for swag entry. Now this one, most of you guys that are here probably know what this one is. You guys could comment on our last video. It was a shop update video. We had a couple jokes in there and some footage of the Forerunner running over some logs and some rocks. And a lot of you guys enjoyed that. We got some great comments, some awesome feedback, and lots of love from our fans. So thank you guys so much for doing that. And then we're going to draw this winner. But Josh wanted me to show you guys some of the cool logos that we have first. So we have powder-coated little logos. And these are, of course, swag, so they count for entry. And they're not going to focus unless I put something in front of it like that. So you can see there's texture on them. They're pretty cool finish. And we've got a whole bunch of different colors. And we'll be putting them up on the web page probably later this week. And it'll just be more ways to add variety to your Rogue Fab products or even other products you have. And we've got a bunch of other options that are going to go with these things. I know we showed them to you a while ago. We actually had some quality issues with them, and so we had to send them all back out for rework and a bunch of other stuff, but we didn't want to put them on the shelf unless they were as good as we could make them. So that's why it took a little while. This is a live video. We like interacting with you guys. Ask questions if you have them. Josh is just a yell away upstairs here, and he'd be happy to shout them down to me. I'm going to draw the winner, and feel free to just type your questions to Josh, and we'll reply. And this is again for a $100 gift card, and you got to enter this by posting a comment on our last video. So you could only enter for free. It was limited to 100 entries. We actually got the 100 comments filled up within about 24 hours this time, which is awesome. And almost everybody used the correct keyword, which is great. We actually put a little trick in that video, which I was surprised we didn't catch anybody with. We had a keyword at the end like always, but it was just typed onto the screen like usual. And in the middle I said, this is a trick. Use the word awesome, don't use the keyword from the end. And everyone did that, which is shocking because I watched the analytics on the last video and it spiked at the end, which means people were fast forwarding to the end. But anyway, good news. So, winner, $100 gift card. And this might be a YouTube handle or something. It's not. Full name, Eric Brown. There might be more than one Eric Brown, but it's going to be the one who left the comment on YouTube. So, we will probably reply to your YouTube comment, Eric, because I don't know how else we would get a hold of you. And then we'll just ask you for your email address or phone number, and you can send it to us in a private message, and we will get a hold of you, and we will send you a $100 gift card. And you're welcome to spend that however you'd like on our webpage. So thank you so much for your comment, Eric. We'll open the floor to questions. After this video, we're going to make sure it stays live, and there's going to be a link right here that's going to say subscribe. And make sure you do that. Anything? I'm yelling to Josh. Well, I'm thinking there's probably no questions from you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching, and feel free to watch the other videos while you're here at our channel. Subscribe and watch the other ones we've got. There's a lot of really great content on here. We're going to keep adding more. Thank you.
We got a question.
Oh, there's a question.
Someone was asking the difference between tubing dies and mandrel dies. And a little more info on that.
The roller pressure dies?
No, between tubing dies and mandrel dies. That's what they label. So they probably want a little more info on what mandrel is.
Okay. If you can clarify that, please clarify the question. You guys probably heard Josh, but someone asked the difference between tubing dies and mandrel dies. There is no difference. Any of our tubing dies, which are unexcitedly wrapped in paper right now, you can't see them, can be used with a mandrel or without a mandrel. We do have some that I would consider mandrel only. I don't know if I've got one I can grab. Yep, I do. This still isn't exciting because it's in paper, but it's a 2-inch on a 4.5-inch radius. This is just a label. But That is an absurdly tight bend radius for not bending with a mandrel. This will not be sold to somebody who doesn't have a mandrel attachment because it will not work. It will just wrinkle the tubing. So this has to be used with a mandrel, but it's basically the same design of die. It's just a smaller radius. Most people who do mandrel bending on our machine just use one of our regular dies, like this 1.4" that you could use with a mandrel or without, and they would just use it with a mandrel on thinner wall or for better bend quality on thicker wall stuff. I know there's a delay. If it answered your question, let Josh know. If it didn't, you can clarify it. Anybody else have questions?
Someone asked what's the thinnest tube in the tradesman set that can be bent with?
Someone asked what the thinnest tube they can bend with in the tradesman set is. So our tradesman set is a M600 bender, 1 inch, 1.25 inch, 1.5 inch, 1.75 and 2 inch dies, varying radii, but the inch die is on a 3.5 inch radius in the tradesman set. I believe that one will go the thinnest, and it will go down to 0.58 or 0.65 is the minimum. But if you want to bend as thin as possible, you can just ask us in a comment with your order to swap that die for another one of the same price, which would be the 1 inch on 4.5 radius, the one I just showed. And that one will definitely bend thinner because it's a bigger radius. It's all about the ratios. The thinnest wall compared to bend radius and the thickest wall compared to the diameter of tubing are the two ratios you want to maximize to have the easiest time bending. So the 1 inch 4.5 would go down to probably 0.49 on carbon steel, at least 0.58. We do have a tubing wall thickness capacity chart on our webpage, so 24/7 without having to ask on a live video. Not that we don't enjoy the questions. You could just go online and check it out. It's rubfab.com/tech, and there's a little list of buttons there. One of them is tube capacity chart, and it will show you that. We also have a bend feasibility calculator, which we haven't explained a whole lot. It's also in that same tech heading under our webpage, and that one actually gives you the wall ratio and D ratio for the dies, explains what those terms mean, and helps determine, well, tell you how likely that bend is to be feasible, how easy it would be to bend it. And it will tell you right there, this is likely going to need a mandrel, this is going to be challenging, or this is going to be a cakewalk, real easy. So it's a nice thing to be able to have access to. And there's no membership required for that. You don't sign up, you just go there and use it. Awesome.
Guy wants to know if we can do exhaust with the mandrel bender.
A very common question. Someone wants to know if you can do exhaust work with the mandrel bender. I always tell our staff when they get this question, say no first, because people, when they say exhaust, they're usually talking about doing like 3 inch 0.65 stainless or headers where you got, like, you know, a 2 inch radius bend or a 1.5 inch radius bend out of the head, you know, right out of the block on a V8, you know, to clear the frame rails and stuff. No, can't do those bends, but you can do other exhaust work like V-twin exhausts on the engine swapped products on motorcycles. You can do dirt bike exhausts. They're about 1 5/8 0.65, 4.5 radius or so with our mandrel attachment. There's other applications as well. If you're doing like a 421 or equal length header or something that goes for a while out of the head, not just a real quick collector into a turbo kind of setup, you can buy bends from Jegs or Summit or whoever to do your first bend right out of the header, or right out of the header flange, and then the longer, more gradual bends, you can do all those bends on our machine. So if you're doing like 1 7/8 0.65 for a really high horsepower forced induction application, you buy some of the really tight bends and you can make the rest on an M600 with a mandrel, and you can likely save enough money to even pay for the mandrel attachment doing that on a couple sets of headers, because those bends do get expensive. So there's plenty of exhaust application work to be done. We've also had a customer who worked on $500,000 and up collectible Italian sports cars from the 60s, and you know, think like Santurinis, Bissarinis, really, really rare cars. And they couldn't have them leave their shop for liability reasons. No exhaust shop wanted to take them overnight. So they had to do this in-house. So we made them a custom 2.25 inch die and mandrel for the M600 bender. It does work. It's really challenging to do, but they bent 0.65 in it just fine, and they built full catback exhaust for these cars with that. But these are not 1,000 horsepower cars. These are lightweight Italian sports cars with modest sized V8s in them. So they did do that. It did work, and so you can do some exhaust. I know that was an extremely long answer, but I wanted to be thorough. Hopefully that does cover it.
We have another question.
Awesome.
Local guy in Portland is trying to source DOM tubing. What's your best suggestion?
So someone wants to source DOM tubing in Portland. Not relevant to most of you, but Team Tube off Airport Way is a great place to get it. I've never had an order messed up from them. They chop it in half for free. It's always ready to pick up when you show up if you ask for that. And Tube Service is another great one to use. We use Tube Service quite a bit for small quantity and for testing and stuff. We always buy full sticks, a few at a time. I've had great service with them as well. They do deliver depending on where you are. You can go to other places like metal supermarkets, but then you pay by the inch. It's pretty expensive. So if any of you are looking on the national level, ThyssenKrupp, massive industrial company, owns Online Metals. I have no affiliation with Online Metals, but if you ever want to do a reality check on what pricing should be or should not be for DOM, HREW, any of that kind of material, go to Online Metals, grab a price per foot for a 8-foot or 12-foot stick from them. That's generally the high end of what you should be paying in your local area, but you won't be paying shipping if you buy local, of course. So I use them frequently to do a reality check or just to show people, hey, bring this to your supplier, show them how expensive they are, tell them it's absurd that they can't compete with a place shipping from across the country. So. I'm waiting to see if we have more questions. Is there anything else, Josh? All right. Thank you guys so much for all the valuable questions. I'm going to post this to our YouTube channel. And again, that logo is going to be right here for subscribing. Please do subscribe. Thank you so much for all the questions, and thanks for watching. We'll see you guys again soon. Good? Yep.